So these are the general questions that conclude at the end, and I will, after welcoming the presenter, the next thing I'll do is then say that if you see some questions on the paper, then I'll interrupt and say we're now going to questions on general knowledge. And these are the general knowledge questions. The purpose of the general knowledge questions are that people can fully release
give you like a prompt to give you a share
presentation, know that
just
topic well,
that's
so
all.
we need to understand the more worldly and general knowledge.
I'll try to do it myself too.
So you may want to note, I'll let you know who's going to ask each of these questions. Firstly, I've got a question on reputation for the major retailers, so I'll ask that first question. Tony Clay, I'll get you to ask the second question there in regard to net zero. Oh, that's okay. That's all right. Please, not too much. I'm not going to read the question. I'm not going to read the question. Caroline Wade, I'll get you to ask question 3. As Sarah Donato, I'll get you to ask question 4. Matt, I'll get you to ask question 5. And Craig, I'll get you to ask question 6. And so that's the same people will ask that question all the way. Now, one little sort of byproduct of this is I'll be watching the time, and if we get to the stage where we can't manage question 6, then I'll just cut it off at question 5, and I'll tap Craig on the shoulder and say we're not doing question 6. The problem is, if we don't do question 6 for the first one, we can't do any. And if we do question 6 for the first one, we've got to do it for all. So hopefully that's reasonably clear. Any questions?
It's just a quick one. On for Wade, I'm from Colts as well, so I'm guessing I've blacked out on that one.
Oh. Yeah, so can I, that was no one else but me. So can I get you, Andy, to swap with, Sarah, can you swap with Andy on the first question? So you go in a question, at Andy's question for Wade, and then we swapped it around, and Sarah asked that question, and Andy, you go and ask the question of Paul.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just a straight swap.
Oh.
Thank you for that.
No
Any other anomalies that you want to speak about? Also, just wanted to thank Claudine for again making the facility available. Coca-Cola have always been fantastic hosts, and again, we really appreciate all the effort and time and trouble. So thanks very much, Claudine. First time that we've had Claudine judging, which is exciting as well. So thanks very much. Okie doke, on with the show. Good. Yeah, sorry.
Did you say Sarah or Sarah?
Oh, sorry, you got it right. I heard one person. And I was about to say that I think later on tonight, the older people will thrash the younger people in the debate. Based on my I'm not quite certain whether that's going to be the case. Okay, so let's just replay, and you can swap with James. Yep, Andy and James, just a straight swap. Yeah, thanks. Okay, doke. Well, so good luck. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Wade. Phones off to everyone. Phones off. Everyone's holding.
Walmart have invested a staggering $1.5 billion in artificial intelligence and digital transformation. And in only a 3-year period, they are on track to return 50 times this initial investment. On the other hand, Marks and Spencer have invested £750 million on artificial intelligence and digital transformation, And as we all know, over the last 2 months, they've been running their operation with WhatsApp. And they have lost nearly £300 million in only 8 weeks alone. The burning question today is the investment in AI truly going to deliver you a great return? Or as my essay evaluated, is the juice worth the squeeze? In my opinion, absolutely the juice is worth the squeeze. We are on the forefront of a new technology that is fundamentally going to change the world. Over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to take you through what is AI, the risks and benefits with live case examples, and the critical guardrails your organization needs to put in place to manage this investment. But before I go into the details, these photos were only taken 4 weeks ago. The first picture on the right is my new fiance, Millie. And at that point in time, we're floating in a hot air balloon over the ancient town of Luxor in Egypt. You can look at me and I look pretty scared, and I was holding on for dear life because the aviation standards in Egypt are not the same as Australia. But as I was peering out at these structures, I was mesmerized at how they've stood the test of time for nearly 5,000 years. And I learned on this trip that the Egyptians also invented the first 365-day calendar and also invented a sophisticated writing system, as we know as hieroglyphs. And this got me thinking. The Egyptians invented these technologies and didn't know all the risks and benefits that came with them, and they've still stood the test of time, and we're still using them today. So this is synonymous with artificial intelligence and the issues we're facing into today. Before I get into the details of what artificial intelligence is, I just want to spend a few moments on Australia's productivity challenge. Because every time I open the news, I see some politician telling me that we have a productivity issue. And I'd never see a solution in mind. And as you can see, since COVID, we've actually gone backwards, both in the market sector, which includes the retail industry, and the non-market sector, which is the government. Now, you may say the retail industry or market sector is doing okay, but what does this actually mean? So only last month, the Fair Work Commission announced a pay increase of 3.5%. When I first heard that it's only $32 per hour, I thought, oh, that's only a tank of fuel, not that much. But when I actually did the maths and extrapolated it out, we have over 1.5 million retail workers in Australia. With on-cost, this could amount to $4.5 billion a year that our organisations need to find to offset these rising costs. And if we don't find them, we're going to pass these on to our consumers. But today we have artificial intelligence, which is a new technology that we could use as a genuine lever to offset these rising costs. We can reinvest in store formats, make life easier for our customers, and improve the customer experience. So what actually is artificial intelligence? Over the last 3 weeks, it has been a whirlwind. I've caught up with the Chief Financial Officer, the Chief People Officer, and the Chief Technology Officer at Coles. I've caught up with past winners, industry experts, and when I asked them one simple question: what is artificial intelligence? And they all gave me a different answer because it's a new technology. When I take all their perspectives and the academic research of what is out there, AI is defined as a broad field that AI is a broad field that uses computers to perform tasks of human intelligence. And what it actually is, it takes all these data points that we have in our data systems. It's able to learn from these and have actions on this. And it uses feedback to learn and make the models more accurate. And what we're seeing is AI has a robust infrastructure, which is supported by cloud infrastructure, on-site data services, And what we're seeing now is an emerging field called edge computing. And this is backed by wearables such as cameras, sensors, and chips. And these are creating new data points, which is going to be able to see stores like we've never seen before, new data streams. And these AI systems can now start to bring to life these stores. What people are calling this new ecosystem is an intelligence edge backbone. So we are able to build out all these new solutions on this intelligence edge. And what does that actually mean? So it means team members will be driven to tasks. They will spend less time in the back room. We also see automated shelf monitoring. So the shelves monitor the shelves, and then we have replenishment as well. There will be out of stock alerts, and we'll actually be able to see the supply chain end to end, from suppliers through to the warehouses and all the way through the store, so we can have better inventory control and less waste across our supply chain. So there's been a rapid rise of AI solutions in retail. You only have to go to the NRF show in New York or the World Retail Congress, and there's thousands of booths. And they're all trying to sell us what's next best for retail. But they all lack one thing, and this is the ability to scale. There's one retailer in the world, Walmart, which is doing this probably better than others. And some of their solutions they have is autonomous bots that are built upon this intelligent edge that can go down the aisles and scan for gaps, inventory and planogram compliance. We're also seeing devices, both for team members and the customer, that can talk to the shelves and have hyper-personalized promotions. We're also seeing at Walmart that a team member can go out the back with their device and scan the back of the room, and it will tell them which box is required on shelf at the right time. This is taking out nearly $250 million annually in labor costs, and is freeing up time for team members in stores to focus on value-added tasks. The bottom left, this is probably one of more of my favorites from an environmental perspective. Some retailers are now starting to grow herbs and fresh produce within the store, and using AI-controlled systems that manages water, sunlight, and oxygen within that. This is taking off emissions off the road, as we do not have to deliver as much to the store, and it's taking also stress off the supply chain. As Olivia would have touched on deeply last year, retail media is on the rise for all of us. In retail media is on the rise, and what this actually means is through these cameras now in stores, we see vision analytics bringing the store to life, and we see tailored promotions for the customers on billboards or the devices, as I mentioned. The most topical one is facial recognition technology, and this is also on the rise and bringing our stores to life as they categorize people. But this is very topical in Australia at the moment, as we all know, with Bunnings and the ruling last week. So this footage may be confronting, and you may have seen it before, but this is the reality of frontline workers at our stores across the retail industry. Retail theft is also on the rise, and this type of behavior is scaring off people wanting to work in our industry. So Bunnings took it into their own hands to implement facial recognition AI technology between a 3-year period between 2018 and 2021. They trialled it in 63 stores in Victoria and New South Wales. And unbeknown to probably most of us who shop there, they were taking your face, processing it with existing CCTV cameras. It was then checked against the database and processed and deleted if there was no match. But if there was a match, it was sent offshore for final verification with an offshore processing team. The store was then contacted to inform that criminal was in the store, and so that the right methods could be put in place. Only last week, Bunnings were found to have breached privacy law because they didn't have any consent. They thought putting a poster on the wall was all you needed, but unbeknown to us, we probably wouldn't have read. They actually failed to do a privacy impact assessment, and biometric data is very sensitive information, which can have bad effects. So I've taken you through some of the benefits using live case examples and some of the benefits using live case examples in this emerging space. But there are also risks of artificial intelligence currently. The biggest one is trust and reputation. If we don't get this technology right when rolling out to our stores, we can risk damage to our reputation overnight as retailers. There's also a lack of regulation at the moment, and it's an emerging space. So this investment in AI and their big investments could become redundant overnight. The EU is the only nation in the world that's moving forward with an AI Act, and it has strict laws around facial recognition, and it also has a category that it categorizes risk of AI, and it has strict rules and punishments in the areas of health, credit, and hiring. Another big risk is our people capability. Now, while Walmart's investment sounds great, how many people actually lost their job with that investment and that they didn't take on the journey to actually convert their skills to create more value within the business? And as we know, data privacy and security, as the example with Bunnings, didn't end well for them. So I've taken you through the risks, the benefits, and again, to ensure the investment in AI is sound, there are critical guardrails that you need to put in place when thinking about making this investment. The biggest one is training and development and culture. You need to ensure that team members are taken on this journey. It's pleasing to see that the government are having a roundtable conversation with unions, business leaders, later in August, where productivity and regulation on AI is key on the agenda. You need strict AI governance and risk frameworks to ensure that AI is designed with transparent and explainability for when it is audited. And of course, AI needs human oversight. So AI is reimagining retail stores of the future. How people shop, work, and collaborate is being written before us. The investment in AI is changing how we will work and will fundamentally set us up for success over the next decade. So lastly, my view is the investment in AI is fundamentally worth the squeeze. And I want to make one last toast that the juice is worth the squeeze. So enjoy if you're feeling thirsty. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Well done. So let's just move to questions on your topic. And I get the first one. So if I think about how retailers and generally manufacturers, suppliers have actually approached robotic warehouses, they've predominantly